Hello, everyone, and welcome to my very first ever podcast. The goal is to share my story and things that I've learned that help me and other people achieve a happier life. Normally, my girlfriend will be here with me, and I'm hoping to make this a weekly thing that we can do together to share our stories, our knowledge, our wisdom, just kind of why we do what we do and how we want to help people for the rest of our life. So, to start that, I'm going to tell you my story and maybe I'll get distracted somewhere along the way. But hopefully, I can help one person by making this video or all of the videos, and it'll be worth it. So, my story starts at, 15, 16 when I started doing drugs. But before that, my childhood was pretty normal. Two parents are still together, gave me everything I needed. Not everything I wanted, but everything I needed and more than I needed, actually. For some reason, at 16 years old, I got caught up with drugs. It started with oxycodone. I was taking every day through, junior year of high school. Eventually started doing heroin. And landed, senior year, shooting heroin in the bathroom, and it didn't get better from there. So, I guess from there I'd talk about college because high school was just a blur. I got a little bit sober in college my first year. But I was still doing drugs. I still always had to have a fix. It didn't matter really what it was. Mostly I was smoking weed and drinking, but it would be party drugs or whatever was around. You name it, I did it, except for, a handful of things, but the details don't matter. What matters is I wasn't a healthy person. I didn't have any drive to be healthy. I didn't really like who I was, and that's the hardest part to accept, is I wasn't happy, so I just self-medicated to a point that I could deal with life. The effects ranged anywhere from depression to anger to never self-mutilation, but just self-neglect, pretty much. I just did dumb things that a normal person wouldn't do, that cared about themselves. So eventually, I withdrew from college after 3 years. I kind of just struggled through. I was a biology major. Classes got really hard. Drugs got in the way. And I thought I was just the cool kid having fun and I could get by and, I'm different than everyone else. And turns out I'm not. I withdrew from school, kept doing drugs. Drugs got worse. It was always heroin on and off. I would go through, a couple months of doing heroin, go to rehab, get out of rehab, stay sober for a few months, start drinking or smoking, and that went on until I was 23 years old. And then after I withdrew from college, I was just running around for a year, getting high and stealing stuff and robbing stores, and I ended up getting caught for a robbery of Turkey Hill in 2011. I got sentenced to 20 months to 48 months plus 3 years of special probation, which I'm still on for another year. That being said, my story's not special or different than anyone else's story. I feel like everyone gets to a point in their life where they wake up and realize, no, it's not really what I thought it was when I was 12 years old. And if you didn't, then great, and more power to you, because I'm jealous and I wish life was the way I thought it was when I was 12. So after, I got arrested, I went through a long process of whatever, I don't remember, until I came to the realization that what I was doing wasn't right. What I was doing was just covering up symptoms of guilt and shame and all of those, empty feelings inside that didn't make me a whole person. I wasn't happy with who I was mentally. I blamed others for my problems. The whole 9 yards. It's not that I'm allergic to drugs. It's that I liked drugs because I didn't like myself. Drugs filled that void for me, and I felt like a stronger person because of that. I wasn't happy with who I was. I wasn't strong enough to change who I was. So once I came to that realization that it was my fault for taking drugs. I am not special. I have to take responsibility for my actions. Things got a lot easier. I could pray. I could talk to God, and that relationship took a long time to develop. But I had 20 months to sit and think about life, and that time was really beneficial for me. I feel like if I wouldn't have had that time, I wouldn't be the person I am now. I read a lot of books. I read the Bible. I exercised a lot. I had a lot of time just to sit and think about what I wanted out of life. And what I figured out is I just want to help people be happier people. So whether that's in daily interactions or, directed, attention towards people who are struggling, I genuinely want to just help people become better people, because I feel a million times better than I did being that person who was trying to impress other people and be, somebody who I wasn't. So it was a long process to go through the guilt and the shame and the feelings, and everything comes back, and people I hurt luckily forgave me. Some things I'll never be able to gain forgiveness of, but we're not going to talk about those things now. I'm sure this stuff is going to come up later. I'm just trying to go through this quickly to give you an idea of what I want to do with my life and who I can help. So, in prison, I found spirituality, fitness, and nutrition. So they forced me to eat 3 meals a day, which I wasn't doing. It wasn't a ton of food, but it was enough food. And, just eating normal meals is the first step. I mean, sleeping on a regular schedule is the first, finding some sort of spiritual base that you can base your principles off of, bounce ideas off of without somebody else there. Who you are in the dark, it shows in the light. The whole foundation is the most important. Fitness is just the extra stuff. If you have time to go work out, okay, I really like to work out, so I kind of do that sometimes instead of working. But hopefully fitness can be my life soon. So yeah, and I mean, fitness gets a whole lot deeper, nutrition gets a whole lot deeper, and I'm going to make videos for all of these things, and hopefully people dig it, and we can develop a community of healthy people. And then I'd love to hear other people's stories and other people's successes, and then have a community where people are reaching out to each other and sharing ideas of, I like this and this helped me, and this I like this and this helped me. And it might not always be the same, but as long as we're on an equal ground, we can share ideas freely. And that is really a special place when people are helping people, because that's all we have. So I think that's a good place to leave it for now. I don't want this video to be too long. It's just kind of a start. Eventually I want to get better speakers, better camera, and have interaction with other people, but I just kind of wanted to give you a baseline of where I'm coming from, so that when we talk in person, we have more of a mutual relationship, and hopefully you're interested in things I have to say, and I'll be interested in things you have to say, because you're interesting. Stay strong. I'll talk to you soon, and that's it.